Cody back here again with another Vinyl Finds video, and it's been about 3 weeks or so since the last Vinyl Finds video I did, and I'm going to kind of continue on with the theme of the previous few videos, and as I talked about the collection that I've been pulling some records from at the Vinyl Rescue Project. I'm going to start off showing what I have gotten in this last 3 weeks or so in there. And just going to start showing them off. The first one I'm going to show is Laz Rocket, Annihilation Principle. Very good, kind of a thrash metal band. I believe they're out of like San Francisco, somewhere in California. But really good album from them. Really, like that cover is just so awesome. It's such an awesome cover for an album. One of those covers that kind of draws you in. But solid album from them, and again, it's one of the things I got from that aforementioned collection. Another album I got out of there is Hole, Nobody's Daughter. Actually needed this whole album. This is actually the last album I needed to have the entire studio albums, and released in 2010. It's kind of hard to believe that this album's already nearly 10 years old, but kind of I feel like a kind of an underrated album from Hole. I mean, really solid album from the first song to the last song. But one that I needed, and definitely glad that I was able to pull it from the collection. Still in the shrink wrap, still has the hype sticker, but definitely was happy to add that one. And then I also picked up Walter Trout Band. This is Transition, a solid album from the Walter Trout Band. Kind of a little bit of a different path from the last few that I showed. And I also did pick up a few Corrosion of Conformity. This is their first EP, solid album as well, first pressing, 1987 copy. Then I also picked up another Corrosion of Conformity. This is Wise Blood, an original 1996 copy, and this album is just fantastic. I love this album. It's just a really solid album from Corrosion of Conformity, and again, super happy that I was able to get it from this collection. And it does still have the hype sticker still in the shrink wrap, but just a solid album, and definitely one that I hope you listen to many times. Then I also picked up Warfare by Steve Vai. I mean, I really do like Steve Vai and like Joe Satriani kind of stuff. Like, it's kind of nice just to sometimes to listen to like mostly instrumental music, and this is just a really solid album from Steve Vai, and it was pretty inexpensive from that collection, so I had to pick it up, and it's called Passion and Warfare. I believe this is what it's called, Passion and Warfare, but definitely had to grab that one from the collection. And then I also picked up Black is the New Black from Everclear. This is Everclear's newest album, I believe. It came out 2 or 3, maybe even 4 years ago now. I honestly don't really remember when this came out, but I didn't pick it up when it came out, and got it from this collection. It was very inexpensive, and I really like Everclear and Art Alexakis, so definitely wanted to eventually pick that up, and no better way to pick it up from that collection. And the last thing I'm going to show that I got out of that collection is Night Rangers. I believe this album came out in 2014, High Road. Really enjoy Night Ranger, and I have most of their stuff on vinyl. This one I did not. I actually never even saw this one available for vinyl. And according to Discogs, it was like only issued in like Switzerland or something like that, some European place. But definitely was happy to add it into the collection. That Ranger is like very awesome. saw them in concert like probably 2012 or so, and they put on a pretty tremendous show. So that is all the stuff that I've gotten out of that collection in the last 3 weeks or so. So I'd say some pretty solid stuff in there. And another album I picked up at the Vinyl Rescue Project as well is Wilco's newest album, Ode to Joy. And this, of course, is the indie record store exclusive colored vinyl on pink vinyl. It's a really solid album from Wilco. Need to listen to this one a couple more times to kind of get the feel for it some more. I haven't really listened to it too many times, but I don't know if I like it a bit more than Star Wars and Wilco Schmilko, but not a bad album from Wilco. Then a couple albums that I actually got at the Electric Key Records in Franklin. I've talked about them in the past. They're fairly new record store. They've been around now for probably a little over a year, and for the longest time when they were around, they were in this like bakery, so like they had very limited space, and they just recently relocated into a brand new building, new to them, and they have their own space now, so it's a full-size record store. They're not sharing the space with anybody, and it's really awesome to have another local record store, full-size record store just near me, and I will definitely be going there way more frequently than in the past. But I did pick up a few albums there. The first being this is Helmet. Meantime, this is the limited collared vinyl version of it. Actually, picked that one up on their grand reopening, and I also picked up Mudhoney Morning in America EP. I finally was able to get it at Electric Key Records in Franklin. Unfortunately, this is not the loser edition, so I'm kind of still on the hunt for that one, but it is just a regular black vinyl version, but just in a tremendous EP from Mudhoney. So definitely happy to track that down, and we'll definitely be going to Electric Key Records much more frequently now. And that's in Franklin, Indiana. If anyone is around in the area to check it out, definitely recommend. It's a very tremendous store. Then I'm sure if some people have seen my videos from the William Duvall show. I have 4 songs up, and that was just a tremendous show. Just a really awesome acoustic set. Just a really awesome show. But did pick up one alone at that show, and this is the autographed one out of 250 that William Duvall signed, which I was really actually happy that I was able to get this, because I actually wanted the exclusive colored ones, and I knew that I was more than likely not going to find this album in any record store, and I was going to see him, so I figured I would just pick it up there. And luckily they did have a few. I think they had 3 of these ones left for sale, and they had a few of the other collars still. And this is the clear black swirl collar. And it's just a really solid album from William Duvall. Of course, William Duvall is in Alice in Chains now. But just a solid album from William Duvall. Solid show. If he comes in your area, definitely highly recommend seeing him, because it really is just an outstanding performance. And then I did actually buy some things on Discogs too. It's been, I think the last time I bought anything on Discogs was around April, just to get some record store day stuff that I was unable to get on that day. So a few albums that I picked up from Discogs. The first being an album that I just honestly couldn't find in the store anywhere. It's a Mark Lanegan Band, Somebody's Knocking, his newest album. One of those albums I was really excited when it's coming out, and I honestly probably should have just pre-ordered it from his store, but I kind of want to support the local record stores, and I just couldn't find it anywhere. I went and asked a few record stores, and they were either not able to get it in, or they just didn't think anybody was interested and just never got it in. But definitely had to track it down. I got one on Discogs, and I got the pink breast cancer vinyl version. But this is just an awesome album. I mean, Mark Lanegan really never disappoints. Pretty much anything he puts out, in my opinion, is just great. Really, Mark Lanegan is definitely up there with one of my favorite singer-songwriters. I love Mark Lanegan. I love his stuff with the Screaming Trees. He just does tremendous, amazing work. But very, very solid album from Mark Lanegan. Definitely recommend picking this up if you're able to find a copy to get it and listen to it, because it is just really, really, really solid. Probably, honestly, one of my favorite albums that's come out this year so far is Somebody's Knocking by Mark Lanegan Band. Is just an awesome album. And then I also did pick up a few Red Hot Chili Pepper albums off of Discogs, with some that I kind of needed to fill in the void for the collection. The first being By the Way. Red Hot Chili Peppers is an original 2002 copy. And this album really doesn't go for a whole lot on Discogs. You kind of would think it would go for a little bit more, but it really, average price is like $30, $35. But kind of wanted to start filling the gaps in some of my favorite bands, and I did not have this album, so I ended up picking it up on Discogs. And the final album that I picked up on Discogs is Red Hot Chili Peppers' One Hot Minute. I've been actually looking for this album for a little bit now, and just finding it on Discogs. I mean, most of the time it's either more than I want to pay for it, or it's, overseas and the shipping is just going to be too crazy. But I found a seller in the United States selling it for a pretty fair price, so I jumped on it and got it. And this is, again, original 1995 European pressing of One Hot Minute. In really good shape, too. I was always kind of wanting to get this album, and I didn't want to get the reissue, because the reissue is 1 LP, but the original one is actually 2 LPs, so I always wanted to get this one in particular, and I'm really glad I did. It's probably one of my favorite Red Hot Chili Peppers albums, kind of, in my opinion, an underrated album, but Dave Navarro is also on this album as well. It's the album that he is on when he was in Red Hot Chili Peppers. But I really love Aeroplane. Really love that song. I was actually fortunate enough to hear that song live when I saw Red Hot Chili Peppers a few years ago. But really, all the way around, just a solid album. So when I saw it on Discogs, I definitely had to pick it up. But that is all the albums that I have to show. A little decent haul in the last 3 weeks or so, I would say, but definitely counting down the days to Record Store Day. Kind of crazy to me that it's already coming up. Unfortunately, the Dave Matthews Band said that they really wanted the Live at the Hollywood Bowl. I want to say it really got canceled. It's kind of more got postponed into like an indie record store exclusive, and I assume it will probably be for sale on the Dave Matthews website, but it will no longer be released on Record Store Day. But I am definitely looking forward to getting my hands on the Pearl Jam MTV Unplugged. But it should be a really fun day. One of those days that I'm always looking forward to, the Black Friday Record Store Day. But that is really all I have to show and say. So hope everyone has a great day, and thanks again for watching.